Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me here today and for welcoming me with such beautiful energy. So here I was last night thinking about what on earth I was going to share with you guys. I had so many topics jumbled up in my head, and truthfully, my energies were getting so congested. And I started to feel like I was back in school. It was really funny because I don't know if any of you guys are like me, but I'm a queen procrastinator. For whatever reason, that's how I've always been. If I try to do things beforehand, it just sits and I get stuck. So I end up leaving things to the last minute, and for whatever reason, that's when the divine just hits me and then it just comes out. So here I was, I had my computer open, I had a few different links open, a couple of different documentaries that I've watched recently that I thought, okay, maybe I'll take some snippets from that. I had my deck of tarot cards, it was such a silly sight actually to see everything that I had laid out. I had a few different books, and I'm going through and I'm typing a few things out, and I still felt kind of stuck. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a little break here, I'm gonna print off what I have and then just chill out. So I go to hit print, and my printer doesn't work. And I'm thinking to myself, awesome. okay, that's fine. My printer's not working, cool. I'm just gonna take a break from the EMFs and my electrical currents here, and I'm gonna chill out with my angel deck. So I shuffle my cards, and the card that flips up was this one, and it's surrender and release. And I thought, thank you. That's all I needed to hear was surrender and release. Just know that I didn't need those books for this moment. I didn't need my computer. I mean, those things are really good for resources, and maybe I can keep that for later on. But for today and for what I feel I need to share right now, I have that inside of me. And so I took my good old pen and a good old piece of paper, and I just started writing to see what would flow. And it was very helpful for me to kind of have that. And I thought, again, I had a few different topics that came up, but since this is my first time being able to share with you here and in this environment, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background about me, because as much as we've been able to learn and grow together in the last few months that I've been coming here, I haven't been able to share a lot of my personal history and my past, and maybe hopefully you can get a little bit from that. I know it could take hours sometimes to go through one's personal history, so I just picked a few little different snippets here that I'd like to share. So from a young age, I always felt very connected to source, very connected to spirit, very connected to energies, so much so that it was almost overwhelming for me as a young indigo, I guess you could call it, and not having as much sort of understanding of obviously myself, but also parents that maybe didn't fully grasp that concept as well. My mom, I mean, she was a flower child, she was a hippie, she was also, and she is very intuitive and very spiritual herself. And she was an elementary school teacher, so I was very blessed in the sense that she did recognize within me that I had some differences. I mean, we're all different, we're all unique. But I had some differences, and I didn't fit into that box that society tends to want to try and cram us into. And I had some struggle with that, and I had a lot of sort of low vibrational feelings as a child, and some fears, obviously, as we all do. And I was quite the introvert with that. I was always very artsy and creative. I loved singing, and that was my first experience was through song, how I learned to connect with the divine and to connect with myself and with my soul. I didn't realize what it was at the time, but I knew how it felt. And I knew that I could actually have that connection as an out-of-body experience when I actually would immerse myself in song. And I learned through song, and that was something that I was able to embrace at a young age, and that really helped to connect me. And again, my vocabulary, I didn't really have the ability to share that at the time, but I felt it within me. It made me really different. And a lot of people didn't understand why I was singing all the time, but it felt good to me, so I did it. And then obviously my experience with religion at a young age was also very different. My parents were of the mentality that I could make a choice of what I wanted to believe, which I was always very thankful for, because our beliefs do have to come from our own personal experience and what we can relate to. But it put me in a tricky spot as well when I was young, because I didn't really have much exposure either. They didn't take me to churches or to groups like this, and again, I became almost fearful of it because of my lack of understanding and my lack of exposure. So I always had this longing to connect and a longing to have that connection with the divine and with Source, but I still had those fears and those things holding me back. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit now to when I was about 10 years old, and again, we all have to experience dark to understand the light. We all know those duality principles, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. So I remember I was in not a very good spot, actually, even at 10 years old. I hadn't learned to embrace my gifts and embrace who I was, and I had a lot of very low self-esteem, very low self-confidence. I had weight issues. I had no friends. As much as I was doing well in school, from a social aspect, I had a real difficult time with energies and absorbing the energies of others, and not really knowing and understanding that whole concept. So I was very blessed to sort of been thrust into martial arts training. And this, for me, was, it was a pivotal point in my own expansion of consciousness, my own understanding of the universe, and my own self-awareness. It was truly remarkable, and even at such a young age, I could really connect with that. I was very fortunate that where I trained, it actually connected not only the physical aspect, but the mind, the body, and the spirit. I know there's many different forms of martial arts, there's many different teaching philosophies and different styles, but where I was, that was a huge component. So not only was there the physical aspect, but we also did start to learn about spirituality. And that was when I actually, all of the energy things that I experienced from a young age, but I couldn't grasp and I could barely get my head wrapped around, and I felt I didn't know how to, I even get those energy out. But then I had an outlet, finally, and I had validation for my feelings, and those affirmations just started to come. It was almost like a row of dominoes, and it just clicked, and it just started going from there. So you can imagine when I was there, I was one of the very few, it's a very male-dominated art, and when I started training, I was one of maybe 2 or 3 girls that were in the classes. It was all these rough and tumble boys, and then, of course, as you grow up through it, around the age of 14, they moved me into the adult classes, so now I'm not only with those rough and tumble boys, I'm with like 6 foot whatever, 200-pound men, and it can be intimidating. But this is where the use of energy and understanding energy was so vital and so important. I know we've all probably seen this in movies and glamorized in the media, the whole board breaking in martial arts, and we did that sometimes, but it was more for fun, and it was as a demonstration of energy transfer as opposed to this ego gratification of check out how many boards I can break, even though that was kind of fun. But you could, if you tried, it was really interesting, if you actually tried to break a board and your target or your energy was focused just on where that piece of wood stood, you would smack it, and you would really hurt your hand very badly. However, if you took your energy and you took your focal point and put it just this much further past, it would snap like that, like a toothpick. And it was so amazing, not only to see that, but to actually be able to feel that and understand, again, as we all know, that we are energy. Everything around us is energy. And the fact that And it was very empowering as well, to understand that no matter how fearful I might get even in physical altercation, I know my own energy and I understand my own power, and it helped to teach me how to harness the universal energies and my own power from that perspective. So that was really interesting. And then, of course, as I said, beyond the physical aspect of it all, there was the philosophical component of my training. So the style that I trained in, it was called Goju-Ryu, which means, literally translated, means hard, soft style. And so even in the name of the martial arts that I trained, it demonstrated duality of hard and soft. And I started to understand and learn about the spiritual laws, which I know we all, we talk about here. I haven't had a chance to do the classes here yet, but I'd like to, because I'm sure they parallel what I've learned in the past as well. I started to learn about karma. That was my first introduction to karma, and understanding not only what goes around comes around, and understanding that we get what we give, but understanding that it is such a beautiful and powerful gift and tool in our existence here. If any of you guys have me, bless you, if any of you guys have me on Facebook, good old social media, I actually go under the handle of Karma Spirit. I don't go under my actual name. And there's a side story that kind of goes with that. But I was so sick of the negativity that can come from social media in general. And I was like, no, you know what? I want to change to something that's more me and more positive. So I deleted my old account. I made a new one under Karma Spirit, and I only added people who give me love and light and positivity. So that's a side note, sorry about karma. I also started to learn about mind over matter. That was, again, more so that was illustrated through the physical component of the training. Some of the stuff that I think back about, I don't even want to think about that we did. It was so silly. Running 10 kilometers in bare feet on gravel roads, like through Heber Downs Conservation Area in bare feet. I kid you not, we did some silly things. But it did help me to understand you can put, if your mind is somewhere else, you can put yourself in a meditative state. It's just like if you're in labor. It can hurt like heck. But if you can put your mind in that meditative state, you can do just about anything. And those some very, very powerful tools, and very inspiring and very, very humbling tools as well, to understand that we have that ability within us. So in the meantime, while I'm learning all of this and I'm this sponge absorbing, I started to learn all of my own sort of personal superpowers, I guess. I started watching synchronicities started to unfold in my life, and it was so interesting to see pieces of the puzzle fit together. And at the time, I understand it was the divine and it was my guides. I didn't call them my guides at the time. I didn't know what to call it, truthfully. But I knew it was there. I knew the universe was there. And I knew it was looking out for me and for everyone, even if I didn't understand it at the time. So I also had the opportunity to work with children. And that was so amazing. Obviously, they are just pure unconditional love and connected to Source, like sometimes we can never even imagine. And one thing that we always worked on with the children, whether they were balls of energy that just needed to get it out, or if they were like me when I first started, had zero self-confidence and didn't know what to do, and were overwhelmed by energies, was to talk about and to work with positive affirmations. And I know we've all heard of positive affirmations, positive self-talk, how our words carry vibrational power. We can choose lower vibrational words, or we can choose higher vibrational words, and just something as simple as our own self-talk can affect our realities and what we're projecting. So it was interesting. With the kids' classes, they weren't allowed to say that they were okay or fine or just good, because those were lower vibrational words. We always taught everyone to be super, fantastic, awesome, amazing. And even if we don't feel it sometimes it's that little extra push that can help us through and to help us realize our inner light when we have some dark feelings within us. And it's not to repress those dark feelings. It's not to say that they aren't there. Because we are human, we will always, as much as we are striving to be our true higher self, always here and raise our vibration, we always have our ego that is there as well. And it's important to understand that. And again, it's a teaching tool. That's why it's here. It's a teaching tool to teach us. And one of the affirmations that we'd use with the kids, and I still do this to this day, for myself, is we'd say, I am happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, supersonic, energized, whole, beautiful, perfect, and strong. And you can imagine, we'd have like 3-year-olds that would repeat this, and it was just amazing and beautiful. And you can imagine those kids going to school, and that's what they're telling their teachers, and that's what they're telling their classmates. And they would have such a great time trying to think about the coolest, funkiest, most out there, high vibrational words that they can think of. And it's funny that sometimes we lose that as we get older, right? It's either we can be afraid of what others might think of us, or it might not be language that people are used to, but they're only not used to it because so many people get stuck in those lower vibrational ruts. If we choose to raise our vibration and use those types of positive words, then that's going to affect, it'll have a ripple effect on those around us. And where was I here? Oh, and sometimes I think people do forget, as I said, the power and intention behind their words, and it's easy to get caught in that spiral of negative self-talk. And I'm sharing this with you today, and as I was sort of writing things down last night, it's not really so much as I'm sharing it for you. I'm sharing because I hope that you can benefit from my words as well. But when I'm writing, I was thinking to myself, man, I'm talking to myself right now. Because there are so many times in the ebbs and flows and in the cycles of life, we go through rough times. And it's not that pleasant, and it can be really difficult sometimes to keep that belief in yourself and to know that you are worthy of divine love, you are worthy of unconditional love, and for you to receive that, oftentimes we need to also feel that and believe that within ourselves, because nobody can do that for us, right? And it's hard as well because sometimes we can get affected by other people trying to put their negative energies on us. Absolutely, it can be a challenge. It can be difficult. I don't like to call it a problem because, again, as you go for, if we talk about words and the intentions behind them, problem to me seems like a lower vibrational word. Whereas if I call it a challenge, I can put more of a positive vibrational spin on a challenge. And a challenge is something that we can be excited about, we can conquer, and we can work through a challenge together. Whereas a problem kind of seems really, really nasty. And I think we tend to hide ourselves away from problems. So I like to use, often in my life, I use the metaphor of going into a room of darkness. And oftentimes, if you just feel so overwhelmed with that darkness and consumed, you can light just one single candle, and just with that little candle, the darkness will flee. But the beautiful miracle is that you can never, ever do the opposite. You can never go into a room full of unconditional love and truth and purity and honesty. You can come in with the darkest of forces, but you can never shut out that light, ever. And that is, again, something so powerful to understand and realize that you have that within you. We all do. And we don't need anybody to do that for us. Our DNA transmits light and sound. As you always hear us talk about our light bodies, our higher selves. You can raise your vibration, as I said, by raising your thoughts. Not only your verbal thoughts, but your internal thoughts. All of your internal thoughts and your self-talks are silent prayers to the divine and silent prayers to the universe. So we have to be very, very careful of that and be very, very conscious of what we decide to say to ourselves, right? And I know, as I said, it can be difficult to focus on the path of love and light when we can be bombarded with negativity, but we have to understand, and this is something that's been really, as much as I've known it, I've really been able to feel it and understand it that much more in the last few months, is that we cannot change others' realities. It's up to them. We are all here, as much as we are a collective consciousness, we are all here with the gift that we can experience ourselves subjectively. We can choose what we want to experience when we're here, whether we do it on a conscious level or whether it's our higher selves guiding us on a subconscious level. We are here learning the lessons that our soul needs to live. And we are so blessed to have been incarnated here at this point in time with so much prosperity in the world. And I know that each and every one of us who are here in this room today, but also on this earth at this point in time, we are all here with a unique purpose and a unique soul mission. And I know even myself, I'm still trying to figure that out. And I'm still talking to my guides and praying about that every day. But something that's really helped me is understanding that and feeling within my heart that I'm an earth angel. And I believe very firmly that all of you are too. I worked with Alan Green, who does past life regressions. He works out of the Odyssey in Pickering. And I had the opportunity, he actually took me into a little meditation to find my angel wings. And it was really unique and very, very special. And I know we kind of started a little late today, but I want to just take a couple minutes, if I can, and I'd like to just guide you into a very quick meditation to see if you guys can try and feel your angel wings. And by angel wings, I literally mean angel wings. And whether you just want to use this as your own personal meditation, whether you're by yourself or when you're with someone, you can hug somebody on a three-dimensional level with your arms and with your heart energy. But you can also think of the visualization of hugging someone with your wings, wrapping those wings around someone, wrapping them with warmth, wrapping them with love, unconditional love. You can wrap this room. You can wrap the world. And it is such a beautiful, empowering feeling. So if you don't mind, you can put your feet flat on the floor, hands up to receive divine love, divine energy, and close your eyes. Just focus on your breathing. Deep breath in your nose and out your mouth. Just bringing your focus inwards and calming the body. Thinking of your feet rooting into the ground, rooting into Mother Earth. Feeling her energies coming up into your physical body. You can feel the light and love from Father Sky coming down through the crown of your head. Still focusing on your breathing. In your nose and out your mouth. Feeling the energy. Bringing yourself inwards. And then physically feeling yourself become more aware and more conscious of your back and your shoulder blades. And think of your beautiful angel wings coming out of your back, stretching out. They might have feathers, they might not. You might not have wings, and that's okay too. Just focus on your breathing. You might have beautiful colors that are surrounding you. Know those are your aura colors. Often those colors will be in your wings. Notice how high they stretch up. Oftentimes they'll even be curved or pointed at the top. I'll usually reach right down. Look at your sides using your mind's eye. You can look down at your sides and look at how far down your wings go. See how beautiful they are, how soft and fluffy and comforting they feel, how powerful they might feel. Still focusing on your breathing, feeling the light. Paying attention to the colors that you might see, either if they're colors that surround you, or if you see colors in your wings, that's oftentimes colors that you know that you need either for yourself, that you can use in color therapy, or that you can be sharing with others. Now pay attention to the feeling that you have when you have those wings. Think about the love that you can share by using them. You can give yourself a hug. Wrap them around yourself. You can wrap them around the person beside you. You can wrap them around a loved one who maybe isn't here, but that you know needs that extra support and encouragement. Just you thinking about that right now is sharing that extra love and light. They will get that on the energy plane. Maybe not in the third dimension, but 50, 60, whichever dimension you want to be at or you can go to. Feel that. Know you can wrap the entire world with your wings. It's a very beautiful and humbling energy. Just take a moment to feel that. And to remember that. And know that whenever you want, whether you're in a meditative state, or whether you're just with someone, or you're driving in your car, or you think of somebody that you love, you can always use those angel wings. When you have a moment, when you're ready, you can bring yourself back, open your eyes. You have that power within you always. Always. You can share that with whoever you'd like, whenever you'd like. And that is such a special gift. I just need a minute too. That was very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with me, guys. I just want to remind you guys all that you're so loved, no matter what. In the ebbs and flows that we know we need to experience and that we've chosen to experience while we're here. We need to know the dark to understand the light. I'd like to share a lot about my own personal experiences in the hope that that can help relate to others. And there are some not very nice experiences that I've had to have in my life as well, paired with the beautiful experiences. But know that that is what grows our spirit. And I firmly believe, as we've come here to incarnate over and over again, oftentimes you'll feel that you'll live numerous lifetimes even within this one life as we go through the different cycles. And sometimes there's been times, even within my own life, I ask why I thought I was done. I thought I was done learning. I thought I kind of had this down. I thought I was, here in a good spot. And then something comes, and it's another life lesson. And instead of asking why, I've started to change my thought and my vibration as to say thank you. Thank you for these life lessons, and thank you for these gifts. And to know that it's all what we choose if if we want to choose to make what is happening to us be a lower vibrational experience, then that's what we're going to experience. But if we can choose that this is for our highest good, and we are going to live our love and our light and our own personal truth, no matter what, even if something's completely bearing down on you, you know that you are doing everything in your capability to live your life to the fullest. So, is it overwhelming? Yes, sometimes. Are we source and our guides around us all the time? Absolutely. And this is something that I have to remind myself of all the time. Quite often, yes. And that's why I feel very blessed to share this with you today. Because through the law of attraction, I've attracted you all into my life as you've attracted me, and I'm so thankful for that. So from there, I'm getting the time card, so I better stop rambling. So from now on, whenever you can, just remember you can close your eyes and use those angel wings. Use your positive affirmations, your positive thoughts, and your positive actions. You can be the change that you wish to see in this world. Even if you can't change the reality of others, you can change your own reality. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. I hope to do it again. God bless, and namaste.